Yo, what's poppin'? It's your boy. It's your boy. What's good with y'all? The Fins Take with CB83 and coming to you for another banger. You already know how we do. It is a Thursday night. We are recapping day 2 of the Miami Dolphins joint practices with the Houston Texans. Man, so much to talk about today. Man, we got a little scared today, but shit, it's gonna be all right, right? It's gonna be all right. Don't get your pennies in a bunch. We still in the hunt. We still doing our thing. Our boy will be back. But yeah, I heard Twitter went crazy. I heard YouTube went a little crazy, but hey, we here. We live. We live. We getting after it. Shout out to the homies in the chat. I see y'all in the building. Do me a favor as you come in, please punch that damn like button for your boy. Let everybody know I'm live. It helps with the algorithm. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. You know what it is. 40 subscribers away from 1K. Damn, we gonna throw a hell of a party when your boy hit 1K. We gonna throw a hell of a party. So we got a bunch of stuff to give away. We got some swag coming, some shirts. We already got the jersey in place, giving away the Xavier Howard game on the field jersey, giving that joint away. We got some NFL Prism cards to give away. We got a ton of stuff to give away. So be sure to pull up for that. We're definitely gonna have a good time with it. Hey, this is what we do, man. We get it cranking over here. We really do get it cranking. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You know how we coming, man. Yes, sir. I see the gang pulling up. I see y'all. I see the gang pulling up. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the homie JR Black. JR Black sent me this article. We may take a look at the article. It's a really good article. If you guys get an opportunity, check it out. It's basically the NFL analysts at ESPN ranking quarterback traits. And they really go over 9 quarterback traits. And Tua ends up getting in the top 10 4 times on that list. So they go through a number of different QB traits they feel are accurate: arm strength, pocket presence, accuracy, toughness, number of different things. Tua's in the top 10 4 of those times, and I think he gets voted a vote for the top 10 like another 2 to 3 times. So really good list. It's good to see our guy on the list, making his presence known with his play on the field. So that's what it's about. Shout out to the homie JR Black in here first. Appreciate you coming through, bro. We got to show the love. Yes, sir. Get it popping. Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all coming through. Appreciate you. Canes, what's good? Salute CB83 and everyone. Salute to the homie Canes. Shout out to the members gang. Big up to the members gang. The captain of the squad, Shake Money. You got William Perry, Chef Jew, Raul P, Cruz, Andrevius. Who else we got? We got Irv, G, Big Slick, Adam Sadowski, the Wayne D Experience, S. Harris, and number 13 bringing up the rear. The last one in the gang so far is the Dan Marino of the crew, Alex Rene Diaz. Shout out to the homie Alex Rene Diaz for becoming a member yesterday. That's dope. Appreciate you. All the support helps, goes towards me getting stuff for the getting a new camera, getting new lighting, just making the production dope. And that's what I want to do. I want to be able to give you guys dope content that looks good, sounds good, and that's quality, right? I want to be able to bring people on the show and do really cool stuff. So appreciate y'all. The link is pinned to the top of the chat if you want to become a member. You can also donate through Cash App or Venmo too. So really appreciate you guys coming through. Really appreciate the support. If you can't donate, hit the like button for your boy. Share it with friends and family. That helps as well, man. So appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Let's get to it. Q is in the building. He says, Fins up. What's good? Uso, what's good? Oos. What's good, Q? Hey, and you right, bro. 40 more subscribers till we get to 1K. It's happening, bro. Hey, brick by brick. Brick by brick. We get it in. We get it in. Become a member. Hit the link in the chat. I see you, Raul P. The whole members gang pulling up. Yes, sir. I see you, Shake Money. I see you, Liz. It's another beautiful day, Shake. Another beautiful day for football talk. Hey, we're gonna have a good one tonight. We're gonna have a good one tonight. Shout out to John Featherland. What's going on, man? He says, fins up, everyone. Man, everybody's pulling up. The homie Chef Biggs in the building. Dolphin head ad guy. Ninja hat. Dan the man, and still ain't did nothing since 1972. Bro, get what? Bro, what? What are you, bro? Hit him with the rest, bro.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Hey, the Bucks had a couple good years. They literally had decades of bad play, of bad football, right? They just became a team in like 85, right? They have decades of bad football, and then they get a Super Bowl, and then they want to talk trash to the Miami Dolphins, bro. We've been doing this. Only undefeated team out there. Go check our resume, and we going back and doing it again this year. We going to the Super Bowl. We getting a trophy. We hoisting a Lombardi. You already know what time it is, bro. Don't even come at us like with that nonsense, bro. That's how we get down. I see y'all. Flavor J, I see you. Hey, no surgery needed for TA. We definitely gonna have the Teron Armstead talk. We gotta have the conversation. Your boy's been hurt, man. We got to figure that out, right? And we want him to get back. We want him to stay healthy. But I think we got a good guy in the building who can serve as an alternative until he gets back. Now, I know everybody's saying, hey, the world is ending. Woe is me. The Dolphins are going into the deep end. Nah, it's not happening. We're still good. We're still good. Be patient. Wait on it. Guys are getting reps. Guys are getting quality reps. They'll be fine. They'll be fine, man. So appreciate you. John Featherland says, hit the like button, everyone. We got 22 in the room. Let's get to 20 likes and let's keep pushing on, man. I see you, King Grizzy. I see you. He says we in here. King Grizzy is a Paper Planes fan. So I mean, I feel bad for him for what we're gonna do to him this year. I really do feel bad for him. But we'll have that funeral when we cross that bridge. We'll have that funeral for the Jets when we get there. But we definitely gonna put our foot off in their hind parts. I've already said it. I don't care if you got Dalvin and Aaron and whoever else you got, the little receivers you got, the little chumps over there, the little defensive linemen you got. We got guys for those guys. We got equalizers, bro. So don't worry. It's coming. It's coming. Don't worry. And Tua don't lose to the Jets. Don't get that twisted. Tua don't lose to no Paper Planes, bro. We squashed those, bro. You didn't know what time it is. John says MRI will tell you everything. Yep, it will, and he'll be fine. He'll be fine. My man Rob Please says I should have 10,000 subscribers. I should, bro. But hey, it happens. It'll happen, bro. Organically, brick by brick, we're building. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. I enjoy the interaction with you guys. I enjoy talking Miami Dolphins football, bringing you cool content that's objective and that's going to not be too high, not too low, just somewhere in the middle, just that medium that, hey, it's football, right? I mean, we know football, right? I mean, it's what we do, right? Did football for a long time, man. I see you, Cap. I see you in the building, Cap. K Salt's in the building. He says, fins up. Newfoundland. Latest on Armstead, you mean, or Armstrong? Armstead. Maybe Armstead. I see you, S. Harris. He doesn't need surgery. He said he's gonna be ready for week 1. Yes, sir. He's coming back. Coming back, bro. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I think I'm caught up at this point. I think I'm there. I think I'm caught up. Duke Tomlinson, I see you. Yeah, man. These cats coming from the Bucks, you know, they just talking reckless, bro. LT, I see you. T says fire. I appreciate you coming through. Appreciate you coming through, bro. K Salt says we need another backup QB. Damn, do we? We need another one? We already got Mike White. We got Skyler. I thought y'all said Skyler was that dude. I need Skyler to step up. Mike White's been playing pretty solid. I need Mike White to step up, get in the game, get his head in it, and be ready to go. And that's what I want to see this week when they go out and play Houston. I want to see these cats come out and perform, put the ball in the end zone, lead the team down the field, take whatever you can get, and go get the scores. That's what I need to see. Big Slick in the building. Shout out to Big Slick. in the members gang. He says, "What up, CB? Please put bubble wrap on TA till week 1, bro. I feel you, bro. I feel you. Um, we need him to stay healthy. Does Tyron Armstead stay healthy the whole season?
I hope so.
Okay. Hey, I really do hope so. We need this dude to stay healthy. We need him to stay healthy. Now, it's inevitable that at some point in the season he'll go on for something minor, get nicked. And that's where we need guys like Kendall Lamb to come in, step up, and make plays for us. And that's it, man. And that's a football team. And that's what I want y'all to understand about football. Injuries happen, right? And people will say, hey, Greer gets all these injury prone guys and man, all this and that. It don't matter who you get. Guys are going to get injured in the NFL. You can go get the guy who hasn't been injured for years. Shit can happen. That's just the nature of the game, right? There's a bunch of bodies piling on top of each other every play, guys banging on each other. It's tough in them trenches, bro. It's real in the field. If y'all don't know, you better go ask somebody. It's real in the field. So y'all gotta you gotta expect it, right? Expect the unexpected, but you gotta be ready, right? It's the chess match, right? So if Teron Armstead go down, you gotta know what your plan is moving forward. Hey, we're gonna shift this guy here, and we're gonna move this guy there, and we'll be ready to go. If somebody else goes down, we're gonna move him here and move him there. And I'm sure Mike McDaniel is thinking ahead. He has to. He has to be, right? If he wants to be a good football team and he wants to make a deep run in the playoffs, you got to think about things like that. And you got to think about your depth and where you are as a team. And that'll happen. And that'll happen. Shout out to the homie MJ in the building. Marcus James says it's a Bucks life. The Fins going to be fighting for a wild card. Stop it. What?
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What is wrong with these guys, bro? These Bucks fans come out of nowhere and get reckless with the talk. Bro, y'all got Baker Mayfield. Y'all just got to sit on the sideline and let this thing play out, bro. Just sit. Just chill.
Oh, okay.
I gotta chill, bro. Y'all gotta do the Homer Simpson and just duck off for a little bit. Let us hand us the trophy, right? Hand us the reins. Let us carry the torch, right? We'll carry the torch to the Super Bowl. Just chill. Ride down 95. Hand us the torch and let us go get this Super Bowl, bro. Y'all gotta take the back seat for right now. Baker Mayfield ain't taking y'all nowhere. I suggest I'ma do like y'all should do like I did. I just celebrated the Bucks. I said, "Oh, great, the Bucks won the Super Bowl. Another Florida team, Tampa team. Hey, they're close to Orlando, close to Miami. Hey, I'm rocking with it. Y'all just need to get on board with us now. Just rock with the homies, bro. Rock with the homies, bro." Rock with us. DG, I see you in the building. What's good? What's good, DG? DG, the homie. We're definitely going to get into this camp talk. I see y'all. I see y'all in the chat. He said you was talking shit. I was not talking shit. I was cool with y'all, bro. I was rocking with y'all, bro. I really was. So, yeah, let's get into this camp talk. So, first things first, I'm going to have to pull up my Twitter because I want to go over a couple things on here to kind of address what we heard today in Twitter land, right? I like going through my Twitter because I during the day I kind of go through and like stuff or repost stuff that I find interesting from the Miami Dolphins. So if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, go do that. First and foremost, be sure to go do that. And let me share the screen real quick so you guys can see what that looks like. Pull that up real quick. So we got that there. All right, bet. So we almost there. So we got my Twitter up. I'm going to do this right here, right? And I want to go through a couple of things, right? So there's a couple of things I wanted to go through. First things first. So we talked about the Christian Wilkins thing yesterday, right? And Christian Wilkins, we had a very lengthy conversation on Christian Wilkins. very lengthy conversation. So at this point, I feel like, we know what the situation is. Miami Dolphins know, hey, our fans know that, hey, Christian Wilkins is basically in a position where um, he wants his money, right? And we got to pay that dude. And he's not going to do anything moving forward until we pay him, right? He's still at practice. He's still, participating in individuals and stuff like that, but he's not doing team drills. So that's the case there, right? A thing I forgot to mention yesterday in regard to yesterday's practice. I wanted to highlight Andrew Van Ginkel because Andrew Van Ginkel has been playing really good football. And shout out to the homie Joe Robbie. Shout out to Bobby Schaus on Twitter. These are guys who, put out content that I tend to like or retweet or stuff like that. Now, first we'll get to the Teron Armstead video, right? So this is Armstead walking on the leg, right? Um, and this is him just kind of showing that, hey, I'm good, right? Supposedly he went down, and after he went down, right, tried to get up, tried to move on it, really couldn't put any pressure on it, and he called the trainers over, right? So the trainers come over and they say, oh, what's going on? Where are you hurting? And supposedly they get him on the cart, take him to the side, and they're looking at his. So what's funny about this? I heard this from Omar Kelly and Elaine Poupart. So what they say is they say he takes his shoe off, right? So he ends up taking his shoe off. And that's interesting to me because if you're taking your shoe off, it means typically, shout out to the homie Adam, it means typically that it's something around that area. And I'm thinking this may be ankle related. I don't think this is knee related if you're taking your shoe off. So I think this may be ankle related. And ankle injuries, I think we know what ankle injuries we are. We've always, if you played any type of sports, basketball, football, baseball, you've had ankle injuries. You know how painful they are. And a lot of times when these guys are in the trenches, right? Or it could be a nagging foot injury, right? B. McD, you're right. It could be a nagging foot injury. But when you're in the trenches like that and you get these injuries on your foot, maybe it's his toe, his big toe, which is a very painful thing, right? Or it could be his ankle. But it seems here, right, in the video that he's walking with a slight limp, but seems like he's able to put pressure on it, and he's not walking with any crutches or anything. He's just walking kind of gingerly. To me, it looks like it could be foot related, ankle related. When I look more and more at the video, you can see how he can kind of step with his left foot, and it seems fine. He's stepping with his left foot fine. But when he steps with his right foot, it's kind of gingerly, right? And he's not putting a lot of pressure on that area where that big toe is. So maybe it is like a big toe injury or something in that area that's keeping him from really putting that pressure. Because it seems like more of the weight is being shifted on the outside of his foot and not the inside of his foot when you look at his right leg. Because and those big guys, that's the foundation for these guys. The foundation, the base for these guys are their feet, are their legs. Dre, I see you in the building. What's good, Dre? Dre's the homie. We in here. So it could be a hyperextension of some sort. Could be knee related. But I think it's more foot, ankle, in that area related. And he goes on to tweet, and I'm gonna get out of this video real quick. Let me exit this, right? So he goes on to tweet that. So he said in the tweet, he says, got landed on, right? And this is Teron Armstead about 2 hours ago. So he says, got landed on during team run and practice today. Things like that happen in the trenches. We just get up and get back to work. And that's what I do. Mindset on week one, fins up. So that was his tweet. So in terms of Armstead missing time, I think he's going to be ready to go week 1 for sure. So don't panic. Don't fret. It's happening. We're good. We're good. Another play I saw today, and I gotta give Andrew Van Ginkel some love, man. I forgot to mention him yesterday. I'm gonna show you guys this video. I forgot to mention Van Gink yesterday. I heard he's making plays. I heard he had an interception yesterday. I heard he had another one today. And he's doing it in that inside linebacker position, at that position, right? Even here, you can see the ball on the ground, and you can see him kind of right over that, right? Maybe 3 or 4 yards right in front of the football. So you can tell he's playing that inside linebacker position, and he's in there making plays. So I gotta give a shout out to Andrew Van Ginkel, AVG, for making some good plays in practice. Here he has an interception on a play. Let me show you guys the play. Let me run it. Oh, nice play. So, and I'm gonna rewind it so you guys can kind of see it again. Nice play. So look, and this is what he's doing. He takes his read step, right? He's reading run initially, and then he kind of just backs up in the middle of the field and makes the play. Watch him. Right? So it looks like he's rushing. He stops right there, right? He kind of stops in that gap right there. You see him, and now he's going to get into his back pedal, into his back, into his drops, right? He's in his drops. Looks like this is like a tight end type right here, right? And he just is in the area. And that may have been going to somebody over the middle, but he's in position to make the play. Makes the grab. And it may have been a pick 6, but 33 probably would have been there. I think he had the angle on him. But hell of a play. Hell of a play by Gink. You love to see it. And if he continues to make plays like that, just expect him to be in the game and get time, because that's what it's about. Guys who are in there making plays are going to get time. They're going to get time. Shout out to the homie TD. The homie TD was at practice. He did joint coverage, joint practices both days. And honestly, Twitter, YouTube kind of went into a frenzy yesterday after the 2 pick 6s yesterday, right? So the 2 pick 6s became a thing yesterday. TD got on there. He was a little, excited about them, right? Not excited like happy, but just giving them energy. And he said he had a good practice, but those 2 picks just kind of, put it down the drain for him. So TD comes back today and he says Tua had a much better day today. One-on-one was rough, but his overall practice was great. Beautiful deep ball and stride to Berrios for 50-yard highlight his day. So 50-yard throw to Berrios and stride. Berrios is quietly having a really good camp, right? Very quietly having a really good camp, really being efficient. I don't know if we expected Berrios to come in and just, stand out. I knew he'd be a special teams guy for sure, but the dude has came in and he is balling, yo. He's came in and he is balling. My man DG said Teron Armstead blocking people today on Twitter. Laugh out loud. Jaceki syndrome still running in Miami. Damn. Them boys blocking people. Oh man, y'all got to tighten up. I know y'all be on there going at people. CT, I see you. And CT says Armstead is fine. Okay, I hear you. I see you, G. What's popping, G? What is the purpose of a vest? Okay. K Salt says it's hard not to panic because he gets injured a lot, and I get that. And that's Miami Dolphin fans are just, I think we're very sensitive beings. If I could put it lightly, very sensitive beings in terms of injuries, in terms of this year too. I think we're just fragile. I think we want to see a winning product. And that's where we are. I think we're a frustrated fan base, right? So appreciate you guys coming through. Do me a favor, hit the like button. I am going to. Hey, I want to go over this article. I thought this was a cool article, and I'm not going to bore you guys with this, but I'm just going to go down the list, and we could talk about what you guys think in regards to the article as well, because I think it's cool that I like to see these rankings where they rank truly, like really rank guys based off like some real facts, some film, some not just just not just the, oh, I like this guy because he's a guy, like because he's a guy I like. I like when they like actually put together a group of guys who rank them and then they put out the results. And that's what you see in this article here. So I'm gonna go ahead and share this article. And this is an article on ESPN. Let me get to it real quick. Present, share. All right, cool. So, and we're gonna go through it briefly, and we'll talk about each part of it. When you look at it, the title says NFL Quarterback Council 2023 ranking top 10 QBs by trait, right? Um, so it says today's NFL quarterbacks are asked to do so much every Sunday. And I'm not going to read this whole thing. I'm just going to read the first part so you guys understand the context of the article. And then we're going to jump into the ratings themselves. So it says reading the field and finding weaknesses in the defense, airing out deep shots for huge gains, making precision passes on the move outside the pocket, driving their teams down the field when the game is on the line, picking up first downs on the ground when plays break down. But how do the top signal callers in the league compare in each skill area? How do the NFL's best of the best stack up by specific traits and abilities? So for a third straight year, we asked ESPN's NFL analysts Matt Bowen, Tim Hasselback, Matt Miller, Dan Orlowski, Jason Reed, Jordan Reed, Mike Tannenbaum, Seth Walder, and Phil Yates to rank their personal top 10 quarterbacks entering the 2023 season in 10 distinct categories from arm strength to pocket presence. We combine those lists with a points-based system to generate final rankings in each area, all 10 of which are below. So it says here one more paragraph, and then we're going to jump into the rankings. Our analysts then reacted to each list, explaining why the quarterbacks at or near the top of each group belong there and discussing what surprised them most about the final top 10s. We also gave a big stat to know, spun it forward with a young rising QB to watch for each trait, and pointed out snubs who probably should have cracked each ranking. Let's start with the best downfield throwers in the league, but you can jump to each category and see how the quarterbacks rank in each and the other 9 skills, right? So the first one, right? So the first one is arm strength. Cruz, I see you. What's good, Cruz? That's the homie. Members gang. Yes, sir. Um, the first one is arm strength. So we know what arm strength is, right? It's about throwing the football very hard, velocity on the football. The top 10 for arm strength, you have Josh Allen at 1, Patrick Mahomes at 2, Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, Trevor Lawrence in the middle of the pack at 5, Anthony Richardson. And this is something I didn't like about the list. You're putting guys on the list who haven't played an NFL game yet. I don't think that's fair. So I would like to see him off the list until he proves that he can do it in the game. So Anthony Richardson, who's a rookie, he hasn't played a game yet, is on the list. Jalen Hurts is at 7, Matthew Stafford at 8, Lamar Jackson at 9, and then Kyler Murray at 10, right? So Tua doesn't make that list. They go on to talk about the best of the best. The biggest surprise, Russell Wilson didn't crack that top 10 in terms of arm strength. It says riser to watch, Justin Fields, right? Justin Fields is a riser to watch in the category. And they felt like Derek Carr got kind of snubbed on the list, right? Others who received at least one vote for this: Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Derek Carr, Deshaun Watson, Justin Fields, Will Levis, Russell Wilson, Trey Lance, Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, and Tua Tagovailoa, who received a vote to be in this top 10 list. Okay. So Tua was like honorable mention, we'll say, on that list, right? Accuracy, right? We go down to accuracy. We know what accuracy is: ball placement, putting it where it's supposed to be. Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Tua Tagovailoa at number 4 on this list, right? When it comes to accuracy, they put Tua at number 4. Justin Herbert, Geno Smith are tied for 5. Kirk Cousins, Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott, and then Jalen Hurts, right? Biggest surprise was that Josh Allen isn't on this list. Right? Josh Allen isn't on this list for accuracy. Riser to watch, they said Trevor Lawrence. And biggest snub, they said, was Trevor Lawrence as well. Right? So, honorable mention for this group: Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Jared Goff, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, and Derek Carr. So, right now, out of the 2 categories, 2 is top 10 in one of them, right? And that's the accuracy touch, right? It's not just about the pass velocity or placement. How the ball gets there is also key, they say. Successful quarterbacks master that need to, they master trajectory, right? Fitting the ball in tight spots with zip and softly dropping it into zones, right? Here for touch, you have Joe Burrow 1, Aaron Rodgers 2, Patty Mahomes 3, Tua Tagovailoa 4 again. So he goes 4 on this list. And was he 4 on the other one too? Yeah, he was 4 on the other one too. So 4 on this list as well. Justin Herbert and Jalen Hurts tied for 5. Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins, and Jared Goff, right? And these are ESPN analysts who are ranking these guys. They say biggest surprise was Geno Smith. And Geno Smith wasn't on the list, right? Somebody said he should be in the top 10. Riser to watch is Drake Mayo, who hasn't even been drafted yet. What? Come on, y'all are tripping. They're wilding. Snub, they said Matthew Stafford. And then others who received at least 1 vote, they kind of go through the whole gambit. I mean, I think that's a little bit of everybody. Mechanics. So mechanics, different throwing motions, throwing motions, arm slot, release, follow through, footwork, all these traits, right? Joe Burrow's number 1, Aaron Rodgers 2, Mahomes 3. That Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes, that shit has been top 3 the whole time. Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence, Josh Allen, Kirk Cousins. These are guys that are tied for 7th. Tua Tagovailoa at 9, and then Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff tied for 10. So Tua cracks the top 10 in mechanics as well. They say the biggest surprise was Trevor Lawrence or Kirk Cousins. Riser to watch, Jalen Hurts in terms of mechanics. Right? Phil Vision. Let's go to Phil Vision, and we're almost done with this. So Phil Vision is another one. Here you're looking at the ability to read the field, and I'm going to read this, including in that area, including in that our awareness and recognition when it comes to seeing defensive schemes or coverages, along with the fast eyes to identify blitzers, breaking defensive backs, and open targets. Will a QB audible out when he needs to, diagnosing and understanding different defensive looks? And how quickly can he get through his progressions? Does he get stuck on his first read too often and stare down receivers, making it easier for the defense? Or can he scan the field, make the defense bite with his eyes, and then find the open receiver, right? Now, Phil Vision, I think, is important because there have been a lot of guys in the community, and I'm going to call out TD on this one, right? TD doesn't think that Tua is a good processor. He doesn't think he has the Phil Vision to be a good quarterback, right? And I'm not going to say to be a good quarterback. I think, he thinks he has not enough Phil Vision, but he thinks he doesn't have good Phil Vision. Therefore, he can't be a franchise quarterback, right? I think that's part of his disagreement regarding Tua is that, um, he's just not a good processor. He's a one read guy. He gets stuck on reads, and also that he can't improvise. And we're going to get down to the category of improvising, and we'll see where Tua kind of struggles the most, right? So field vision is important, I think, especially when you're looking at quarterbacks progressing, developing, becoming great players, right? This is something that doesn't happen overnight. I think you really have to get in the league, begin to learn, have a good coach who can teach you, right? Who can scheme things up and help you understand what's important, right? So when we look at this list, Patrick Mahomes is up there at number 1, Joe Burrow's number 2, Rodgers is 3. That consistent top 3. Josh Allen is 4, Herbert's 5, Hurts is 6, Trevor Lawrence is 7, Tua Tagovailoa is 8, Dak Prescott 9, and then Matthew Stafford 10. So Tua is considered to be a top 10 processor by people in the league who know the game of football, right? And we know that Tua has some times where he struggles, but when it comes to protecting the ball and making the right reads, typically Tua is more consistent on being on the good side of that. And that's just my thoughts, because honestly, when you look at the way he protected the ball last year for the first half of the season, he barely had any interceptions. When you look at and compare him to how his peers, did in regards to interceptions, he was up there as being one of the top processors, top passers in the league, right? So of course he's gonna have times. He had times last year where Green Bay game he throws 3 picks. That becomes a situation, and you can't have those games like that. You got to try to alleviate games like that, because that really sets you back as as a passer. And people look at those games and they say, "Hey, he had this game where he threw 3 interceptions. He was having a hard time processing," and that's a game where people are going to say he was injured or stuff like that. Still, you put it on film, bro. So he's got to be better in terms of that and just protecting the ball. But and we talked about that yesterday too. Just like, hey, you can't always just think that you're moving guys based on your head movement or your eyes and stuff like that. Sometimes you actually got to check and see if they're there, or you just got to be able to deliver the ball much faster so they don't have an opportunity to get it, right? Because the football is a lot faster than any man could ever run, right? But you got to get it there quick. Like, you got to throw it, you got to let it go. So, in terms of processing, in terms of field vision, you have Tua ranked at number 8 in the NFL. So, top 10 in regards to that. Decision making with the football. So it says this one is pretty straightforward: avoiding turnovers, protecting the football, not taking unnecessary risk, and keeping an offense out of harm's way it leads to better efficiency. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers, same 3. Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, they kind of are usually in that 4 to 5 range. Jared Goff, Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins, Josh Allen, and Tua Tagovailoa, right? And he's rounded it out at 10, right? They said Trevor Lawrence didn't crack the top 10, but the Jaguars was pretty good in terms of interception rate. Riser to watch, they say CJ Stroud. And then snub, they say Daniel Jones. So they say Daniel Jones got snubbed in regards to what was that? Decision making with the football. Now, this is where Tua is going to struggle. These last couple categories. Not last couple, but there's still a couple more that he's going to struggle in. And let's get to those. The first one is complete level and toughness, right? We already know that, hey, Tua's not going to be very good in this category. He's been hurt. So they're not going to give him the nod in this one. They're just not. You have Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Herbert, Stafford, Dak, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, and Trevor Lawrence. So those are the guys who round that out. Now, who got votes? Tua Tagovailoa did get a vote in there, but I'm not putting him in that category of complete level and toughness. He's not going in that category. Pocket presence. Pocket presence, he does crack the top 10. He gets to number 8. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Aaron Rodgers, the same three guys. Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Tua Tagovailoa at number 8, Trevor Lawrence, and Lamar Jackson. Um, so Tua Tagovailoa does crack the top 10 again in terms of pocket presence. It says pocket presence refers to how a quarterback operates in the pocket. Some things our analysts looked at here include ability to sense and avoid pressure, command and mobility within the pocket, and then calmness under duress, and how a QB gets it done from both under center and shotgun formations. So Tua Tagovailoa 8th in that category. Riser to watch, Bryce Young. Snubbed, they said Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, they said, was snubbed. Rushing ability. Rushing ability. We know Tua probably won't crack the top 10 in this one. Lamar Jackson, number 1. Jalen Hurts, number 2. Fields, number 3. Josh Allen, number 4. Kyler Murray, number 5. Anthony Richardson, who hasn't played an NFL game yet, number 6. Daniel Jones, 7. Patrick Mahomes, 8. Justin Herbert, 9. Trevor Lawrence, 10. Biggest surprise was Joe Burrow. They said Joe Burrow not being in the top 10 there. And then they said riser to watch is Bryce Young. And they said Deshaun Watson was snubbed. Yeah. All right. And then second reaction ability. And I'm going to read this one because it may be, it's an obscure category. It's not your typical category. So it says too close. We looked at the trait. We looked at a trait that leads to many highlights throughout an NFL season. Quarterbacks won't always be able to sit in the pocket and throw darts. With pressure coming off the edge or up the middle, getting outside of the pocket and making off schedule throws on the run is important in today's game. Very important. And then we're going to talk about this one in detail a little bit. Those are the off-platform passes from different arm angles and body positions, often on the move, and can be the difference between eventual points and a stall drive. Right? Patrick Mahomes, clearly number 1 at this. I think he's the best second reaction ability guy in the league. He's just good at it. He's good at what he does when it comes to off-platform stuff. Josh Allen is 2nd, Aaron Rodgers 3rd. Rodgers and Josh Allen both do a good job at it too. Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray at 8, Trevor Lawrence at 9, Justin Fields at 10. This is a category I'd like to see Tua be a lot better in, right? And I say that because there's going to be, with an O-line like ours, there's going to be plenty of opportunities to step up in the pocket and run or roll out and make a throw. That's just the nature of it when you have guys who aren't as consistent on the O-line. So Tua's second reaction ability just needs to be better. Irv, I see you. What's good? What's good with y'all? I see y'all in the chat. So his second reaction ability really just needs to be better. We need him to be better in regards to that. We also need him to be a little better runner, right? So that's kind of my thoughts on the list. But Tua, I think, cracks the top 10 on 4 of these lists. And there's actually, I think there's 9 traits, right, that they go through. And, Tua cracks the top 10 on 4 of them. So he usually is around that 4 to 8 range. In some of the lists, he's number 10. Tua's a good enough quarterback. He's good enough, right? It's just a matter of staying healthy now and making the plays necessary. Decision making with the football, solid, right? I think he's solid there. And I'm going to go down the list just so we can talk about it. So when I look at this, and we're going to talk about how Tua can take a huge leap. Tua can take a huge leap. When it comes to arm strength, I don't expect Tua to be in that top 10 category. I just don't expect him to be there. He's just not that type of thrower. He's an efficient guy. He's going to get the ball there. The velocity, the zip, it's not necessary. As long as you can connect on the deep ball, like he's been doing for the most part, he'll be fine, right? So I'm not worried about him cracking the top 10 category for arm strength. He's in there for accuracy. I want to see the accuracy get better, right? I want to see the touch mechanics, the touch get better. I want to see him get better in regards to touch. And let me scroll down here. And this is just taking a little time. So accuracy, he's there. I think he could get better there. Touch, he can get better there, right? He's good there. He's ranked number 4, but he can definitely get better there, right? Mechanics, he's at number 9. He can afford to get better with his mechanics, just not throwing off his back foot, you know, really letting it fly, following through on his throws. I think he'll be a much better player in year 2 too, as he's more comfortable. Um, I think the categories where he really needs to make a jump, right? And right would would really put him in the conversations as being one of the best quarterbacks in football is um the toughness, complete level and toughness for sure, right? The best of quarterbacks are available for their team. You got to be available, right? Um, so this is me criticizing Tua, and people can criticize Tua. He's got to be available, right? So that's one thing. He's got to be there for his team. He can't be missing games, 4 to 5 games a year. You can't win with quarterbacks like that who are out like that, right? So toughness is one. Pocket presence, he can afford to be a little bit better there, right? He's at number 8. Rushing ability, I want to see Tua get out of trouble a little bit more and take the slides. Um, but I also know that comes with being outside the pocket, and when you're outside the pocket, there's just more risk of injury. So if you're not going to be a guy that runs the football, just make sure you're being efficient and hitting your checkdowns and throwing the ball away when you need to. So you're not taking those hits, right? Um, and then the second reaction ability, I think, is going to be crucial for Tua. Just being able to operate off platform. I don't think he's a good off platform quarterback, right? Um, I don't think he's a guy that is pressured, rolls out, looks down the field, makes the right throw. I think he's got to do better in regards to that. And I think he has the ability to do it. He's just not used to it, or he hasn't been forced to do it. But I think that's something you have to practice too. Like, what I want you guys to understand about Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, right? I want you guys to understand that when it comes to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid is putting Patrick Mahomes in those situations where, hey, I'm going to force him to roll out. Or no, I'm going to force him to stay in the pocket initially, and then he's going to get pressured. Then he's going to be forced to roll out and find a guy down the field. So that's something you're actually practicing in your offense, right? Patrick Mahomes is capable of doing that. He's an athletic guy. Section second second reaction ability is high because Andy Reid knows, hey, I have a guy who can do this. We're gonna have to practice it, and it's being able to operate off platform, off schedule. Tua's got to be better because sometimes it's not there, right? And sometimes you can't always force it in there, even when you know it's not there. So Tua's just got to be better in regards to that. I think he knows that. Um, and I'm looking forward to seeing him grow in the second year for sure. I mean, I think Tua's going to be fine. Um, but that's kind of the article. I wanted to go through that with you guys. Be sure to check it out on ESPN if you guys haven't. If you want to go check it out, it's a cool article. It kind of goes through each trait, breaks it down. And I like to see our guy in there. In his going into his 4th year, right? He's slowly getting better. Last year, before, he wasn't on these lists at all. He just wasn't there, right? Now we see him progressing, getting better each day, each week. He's gonna be faced with opportunities to to push himself, right? And that's what all players are doing, right? And we'll get into a little bit more camp talk and talking about defense and offense, but guys are really just trying to get better. My man Cruz says Tua hate still being a thing is weird already. It's coming from a certain crowd, and y'all are weird. Stop idolizing a guy on YouTube. Oh man, nah. That's funny. Um, but I mean the Tua hate is, yeah, it is blasphemy at this point. I think everybody's seen that the kid can play, right? Um, and I just hope during the season that when they do see an interception or people do see an interception, and I want them to understand that hey, it's a part of the game. It happens, right? And I'm not gonna give Tua any excuses, but he's still gonna go out. I think he's gonna go out and perform well. So with that being said, it is what it is, right? That's the offense. So, in regards to practice, and shout out to everybody in the room. We got 30 in the room. Do me a favor, hit the like. Appreciate everybody coming through. Um, the all so Tua playing. He's practicing, right? Waddle's not practicing. So Waddle's not in there practicing right now. Still out. Still injured. I don't know if they're just keeping him out to keep him out. It's precautionary or what, but Waddle's definitely not practicing right now. Um, Other guys who aren't practicing, um, Keon Crossan, um, Cam Smith is back at practice, which is good. Um, we're starting to see everybody kind of come together and get in drills. Alec Ingold still isn't practicing. Um, so I think a lot of these guys are being put on ice. My thing about putting these guys on ice is that you're not putting the stress on their bodies now. So when the season comes, I feel like it creates more opportunities for injuries. So that's kind of my thing, and I don't know the sports science behind it, but it's hard for me. Um, it's hard for me to just go in and judge based off of what I see, because these guys, Mike McDaniel works with sports scientists and guys who are like trained professionally, get paid millions of dollars to analyze, hey, when do guys get hurt? How do guys get the most hurt? It just seems like our guys get hurt a lot. And I feel like they get a lot of breaks in terms of practice. They don't spend the most time on the field compared to other teams. And as a result of that, I still see a lot of injuries, right? Um, so my thing is like, damn, like everybody needs to be practicing, getting reps, putting the strain on their bodies now. So when the season comes, it's not a shock to your body, right? So that's my thing, right? Um, I don't know their thinking behind it, but I just know that, you know, Teron Armstead, this was his second day going 11 on 11s. And the first play of 11 on 11s, he ends up getting hurt, right? So this is his first day going back to back days. So I feel like you gotta put guys in those positions. And honestly, I'm glad Armstead gets hurt now, right? Early in camp. If something happened drastically, like he needed surgery or something, we could pivot, go get a guy, and try to fill that void before the season starts, right? The sooner you do that, the better, right? I would hate to be in, week 2 or week 3, he go down and he needs surgery and we have to go get a guy off the street now. That's just a lot. So I'm really glad that it happened now. And I think this will kind of be a wake up call for McDaniel and for Chris Greer. Like, hey, these guys could go down at any moment. We gotta have a backup plan in place, something sturdy, steady, that's going to be consistent, that's going to be able to carry us in the meantime, while these guys get back, right? Even with Jalen Ramsey, right? Jalen is out for a while. He'll be back as soon as he can get back. But in the meantime, guys got to step up. Cam Smith, who's playing good football, um, Eli Apple, who's playing solid, and then Noah Benogany, who's, I saw he got beat today on one-on-ones, but that's really not Noah's jam, right? Um, Playing that man to man stuff is not his situation, not his best situation. So guys will have to figure it out. They will have to figure it out. And I think this team is going to be a really good football team. I see guys like um, so Peely, who's kind of banged up right now too. Twyman, Deshaun Hands making plays. I heard Jalen Phillips is just a monster. And I expect a big year from Jalen Phillips, right? Um, 15 plus sacks. Um, he could be that dog for us. Him and Chubb are going to be a very solid tandem of pass rushers, right? I think we'll be fine with those guys. So, hey, I appreciate all you guys coming through. Let me just check my notes real quick and make sure I touched on everything I wanted to touch on. Shout out to everybody who came through, man. If you want to ask a question real quick, go ahead and shoot me a question. Um, but I know for sure I wanted to touch on, let me see my camp notes. Um, so we talked about Teron Armstead. Um, we talked about Tua having a better day. So Tua having a better day, understanding, hey, I can't make those mistakes with the interceptions. And we talked about it. Hey, it's a learning experience, bro. Now you know, hey, guys are thinking ahead of you. They're thinking, hey, he's gonna come back this way. I'm gonna stay put, trust my eyes, and go get the football. So he's got to know that. And I'm glad he gets, and that's what's really great about these joint practices, is because you know the same guys will see Tua every day in practice, right? And they kind of know his tendencies, and your teammates are trying to make plays, right? But they get complacent sometimes, especially when you're just going against the same guys every day. You get really complacent. So when you have these joint practices, it's guys who are competitive on the other team who are just really trying to make a name for themselves. These guys are really trying to make plays to get on the team, to solidify themselves on the roster. So any opportunity they can get, they're sharp. They're going to make sure they're making the play. And that's what kind of takes, Tua's game to the next level, is that, damn, like I didn't expect him to make that play. That's a hell of a play. I'm gonna watch the film. I'm gonna figure that out tomorrow, because that's something that I can't be doing regularly. Um, so man, hey, shout out to the homie Frankie Moretz. What's good with you, man? $5 donation. Shout out to you, bro. He says, love your thoughts on the article. Please tell TD to make a video on the same article. I'll shoot it over to TD and see what he thinks, man. I will get his thoughts on it. And that's the cool thing about TD, is TD is very receptive in regards to having the conversations about, where a guy is and stuff like that. I don't think Tua TD is the Tua hater that you guys think he is, right? And I know he gets on here and he trolls sometimes. He trolls on Twitter, but honestly, I don't think he's the guy um, really hates Tua like you guys think he does. Now his minions are on another level. That's what I want y'all to understand. TD's minions, some of them dudes are clueless, right? You just go in the chat sometimes and you just like,
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
you're literally in there like losing brain cells sometimes. And that's the case, but TD can't control that. I think that's just the way, that's just the way of the world, man. I mean, some cats have their narratives, and he even said it today. I think TD said it, like some of these dudes are really just Tua haters. Like Um, and I think TD tries to be objective, but sometimes it comes off as trolling and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's just the way of the world sometimes. But he's an entertainer. He wants you guys to come over there and hear what he has to say. So you gotta, I mean, you gotta say something, right? Gotta say something. But hey, really appreciate the love, Frankie. That's big time. Appreciate the $5 donation, bro. You the homie for real. Um, Now, did anybody ask a question? My man Cruz said, "Y'all understand if Noah and AJ play solid this year, Greer is never losing his job, right?" Hey, and that is crazy to think, right? That the only thing people can hang their hats on in regards to Greer is Noah Igbenogany, Austin Jackson, Liam Eichenberg. There's not many other draft picks or moves period that you could say Greer really messed up on. Like it's just I mean, I think Greer's been solid. And I was listening to the in the Twitter space today. He's built a solid football team. How can you be mad at what he's built? Right? You may say, hey, it's injury prone, or guys get hurt, or if Tua goes down, where bro, if any starting quarterback in the league goes down, typically that team is done. Right? Patriots had guys who kind of came in and replaced here and there, but man, it's very rare that a starting QB going down um, is not the end of your season, right? Like, let's be real about it. So I think that's just the nature of it, man. And I think Grizz put together a really solid team. And I'm a big proponent of this. Please listen to me very closely when I say this. It is not Chris Greer's responsibility to develop players. It's just not his responsibility. He is not a coach. He cannot go down there and coach them up, watch film with them, teach them techniques. That's not his job, right? His job is to seek out talent, find talent that's going to fit into the scheme, draft those guys or bring those guys into the building. And Mike McDaniel's job is to integrate those guys into the scheme. So I understand that there are guys that you guys will say he has missed on. But some of those guys may end up panning out because some of these guys will fit in this scheme and they didn't fit in the last scheme. Like Noah, for instance. Noah didn't fit in the last scheme. He's not a good man-to-man corner, right? But in this scheme where he can play zone and face the quarterback, this is something he may thrive in, right? And there may be guys on the roster that don't thrive in a zone defense, right? From the last regime. But right now, what we're seeing from Vic Fangio is him kind of putting together some plays where guys can thrive, and he's using their strengths, right, and not exposing their weaknesses by putting them in bad situations. The job of a coach is to put his players in position to be successful, right? If you aren't putting your players in a position to be successful, you're a terrible football coach, right? So you got to understand that it's about winning the game, but it's also about getting the best out of your guys. And if you're getting the best out of the guys and you're developing those guys and fitting them into your scheme and just integrating them efficiently, you'll be fine. But if you're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole and forcing the guys to do things that they're not good at, then you're gonna struggle. And that's the coach's job. That's not Chris Dreer's job. His job is just to get the talent in the building, right? That's all you can do. Get the talent in the building. Liam Eichenberg was a talented player out of Notre Dame, right? Slow feet, big guy, more of a gap scheme guy for sure, right? Didn't give up any sacks in college. Huge mountain of a man. Played the tackle position. So you come here, you switch him to a different position, right? And you're shuffling him around, and it's just not a comfortable situation. So I think there's a lot to do. There's a lot of context there that you got to consider, right? And now he's at the guard position. And they've kind of locked him in there, and the coach is trying his best to really develop him and get him to turn the corner, right? And this is his third offensive line coach in 3 years, right? So it's just a revolving door, and I think consistency in the coaching staff and coaches developing players is the way to go. And I don't think you can put all this blame on Chris Grier because he's really just supposed to be drafting the talent, guys. He's really supposed to be drafting the talent. So y'all gotta and people will say, "Oh, he can't draft O-line. He can't, bro." Like if Austin Jackson pans out like we think he will this year, right? Liam Eichenberg, hey, it may be a lost cause, but that's the draft. You're gonna hit on guys, you're gonna miss on guys. That's what you got to understand too, because the draft is really a crapshoot. All the motherfuckers who get drafted do not end up becoming great football players. Let's be completely honest with ourselves. There are a lot of first round, second round, third round draft picks who don't pan out. So if you're hitting and you're being consistent and you're getting 2 to 3 guys out of every draft that can stick on your team and that become pieces on your team, that become players, right? Then you're doing pretty damn good. So you got to understand that. And if you don't understand that, you just don't understand football. If you're saying Chris Greer is a terrible GM, bro, you've lost it. You've lost it, right? He's only been at the helm for 3 to 4 years, 5 years, right? Tore the shit down to the studs, built it back up to where we are now, right? Had a coaching situation in there that was bad. That was a bad situation with Flores, right? Had to change coaches and pivot. And changing coaches and pivot, you have to pivot also in scheme and everything else. Some of those players who were in that last scheme, you got to find a coach who's going to get those guys to fit into this new scheme, because you can't just tear the whole team down again. You got to be honest with yourself. You can't do that. So you got to find a good enough coach that says, hey, I'm going to come in, I'm going to develop the guys you have and fit them into my scheme. If they aren't fitting, I'm going to pivot from them and find guys who can fit. So I mean, I don't think you could be mad at Chris Greer. His job is to draft talent, get them into the building. The coach's responsibility is to develop those guys, fit them into the scheme, right? Now, that consists of getting good offensive assistants, right? How you develop an offensive line is you need to have a good offensive line coach to develop them. If you don't have a good offensive line coach, then your offensive players on the line are not going to develop the way you want them to. So putting together a staff is important. You want to get good receivers, you need to have a good wide receivers coach to put the unit together. Now, some of those guys are just super talented and they can come in and play on any football team and be great. Tyreek Hill, for instance, Jalen Waddle, those are those guys. But you also need a guy who's going to motivate guys, push them to get better each and every day, right? Because if you come in and you get a wide receiver coach who's not going to push those guys, Tyreek is just going to stay Tyreek. He's going to be stagnant. But I think Wes Welker does a good job of really pushing those guys to the next level. Hey, you're good now. You're a great wide receiver, but you could be better. And that's what the game of football is. It's learning every single day, right? Minka was a huge hit. I'm still pissed we traded Minka. I don't care about the picks. He's an all-pro player. He should be on this roster, no doubt. We wouldn't be having these safety issues right now, right? We're trying to find a safety. Elijah Campbell may be the guy. Deshaun Elliott, I don't know, right? It's looking like Elijah Campbell may step up and take that strong safety position. Brandon Jones coming back off injury. We don't know what he's going to be, right? But he's more of a blitzer guy, and that's not really Fangio's jam. There's another really good video on the Miami Dolphins that I'm going to talk about probably in the next episode. And this video is awesome. Breaks down everything in regards to defense, breaks down everything in regards to offense. And I forgot the name of the podcast network, but the video is just off the chain. I'm telling you guys, when you go look at this video, you'll understand why the Miami Dolphins, or why people think the Miami Dolphins are such a good football team. And if you know people who think, you're tripping by saying, hey, the Miami Dolphins are a good football team, send them this video. And if they watch the video in full, they'll understand that, damn, this team is really primed for taking the next step and becoming a Super Bowl contender. I'm definitely going to share that with you guys. So follow me on Twitter. Follow me. Be sure to subscribe, because I'm actually going to post that. I'll probably post that video in the community tab. And I'm going to ask for some feedback. Like, what's your thoughts on this video? Yeah, Alex, what's good, Alex? He says CB Minka wanted out of here. Why did he want out of here? right? Why did he want out of here? And that's the question um I want to know. And that's the relationship part of this. Now, with a guy like McDaniel, do you think Minka comes in and has those same issues with a guy like McDaniel or even with a Vic Fangio? I think Vic Fangio finds a way to make that shit work with Minka, to be completely honest with you. And I think Flores, in his young years of being a head coach, was trying to set an example by trading the guy because he wasn't doing what he told him to do. And I don't think that's always the best way to approach it. I think there's when you're a professional and you're grown, I think there's some compromise that need to take place, right? I know Flores is the head coach. For sure he's the head coach. But there needs you also have to respect these guys as men because they're still human beings. They're still men. They still have families to feed. They still have kids and other situations going on outside of that. So you still have to respect that and have the conversations with them. If you're not willing to sit down, meet them halfway, have the conversations with them, then what I mean, are you really a good head coach if you don't want to have those conversations with a professional? With a guy who's working for you and who's going out there and grinding every day. Um, and I mean, that's something you got to understand. And I'm not going to, this isn't a bash Flores session, right? This isn't a bash Flores session, but Flores did make some mistakes, and some of those mistakes got us here where we are today. He did do some good things. Now, the defense was superior, right? Um, but the offense struggled. And people talk about, oh, Flores, he was a great head coach. I don't think he was a great head coach because I think great head coaches figure it out on both sides of the ball. I think he was a good defensive mind, and um, and I think that's where he focused his time on the defensive unit. I think great head coaches, they figure it out on both sides of the ball. They figure it out. They find a way. If their staff isn't good, they pivot and find other guys who could do it. Right. And I think that's something where I think Flores just dropped the ball. And I'm sure he'll tell you that himself too. Like, yeah, I could have been better in regards to that. Right. So, man, I appreciate y'all coming out. I've been going for an hour. Hey, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. It's good conversation, man. That's what it's about. It's about having the conversations, talking about the Miami Dolphins. Shout out to the homie Frankie Moret for the $5 donation. I appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. Um, hey, another one. Okay. He says your thoughts on Cook signing with the Jets and Wilkins holding. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. I'm really disappointed with us. And shout out to you for another $5 donation. Appreciate it. So you say your thoughts on Cook. So I'm not a I'm tired. I'm upset about the Cook, not Cook signing Cook. Right. I felt like for $8.6 million, he's worth the investment. Even at 8.6, I'm taking him. I'll take a flyer on him for 8.6 because he's going to touch the ball for 15 to 20 times a game, and some of those plays could be dynamic, right? Some of those plays could get us over the hump, right? And guys who touch the ball, there's a premium there, right? Because you don't find a lot of dynamic players in the NFL. And I'm not saying Cook is dynamic, but with the football in his hands, he can do some very special things, right? So for 8.6 million, I'm going to get Cook. And I'm disappointed he's not a Dolphin and Chris Greer decided to not upgrade the running back room, right? Now, I think the running back room is okay. They're average. When you look at it in the NFL, they're probably below a below average unit. And I think if you add Cook to that room, it pushes some of those guys down the totem pole. Maybe Gaskins isn't here. Maybe Ahmed isn't here. But your room is stronger, right? You got A-Chain, you got Cook, you got Moser, you got Jeff Wilson. That's a solid group right there. It's a solid group. Not a group we'll have, but it would have been a solid group. right? And then you let him go to a division opponent who's gonna try to give you fits. He's gonna try to give you fits. I mean, that's just the nature of it. So I would have liked to have Cook, bro. I really would have. Would have liked to have Cook. Now, the Wilkins situation, I don't blame Wilkins for trying to get his money, bro. I don't blame him. I think it's fair. He came to camp. He showed up. He's done. I mean, he's exceeded expectations in camp. He's been a leader. He's made plays. He's done a lot. So I think he's went about it the right way. He's doing a hold in. He's not holding out. I think it's a very respectable way about going about getting your money. So not mad at him at all. Now, do I think the Miami Dolphins are hesitant to pay him that type of money? I do. I do. And I think that because when you look at the Fangio scheme, it's not based on guys winning one-on-one matchups. It's based on the defensive line working as a collective, as a unit, to use stunts and use movement to free guys up. So I think it's gonna be a lot of stunting and movement and slanting towards areas to free guys up and free blitzers up, not free blitzers up, but free rushers up to go get the quarterback. So when you look at that and you look at paying an interior defensive lineman $20+ million a year, you got to be thinking, man, that's a very hefty investment for a guy who's going to be part of a collective group. Um, and that we're going to free up based off scheme and not him alone, right? So they're not going to rely on Christian Wilkins winning one-on-one battles to get to the quarterback. It's going to be Christian Wilkins moving into the B gap in order to take a lineman with him so Jalen Phillips can wrap around and come through the A gap and be a free guy and get to the quarterback, right? So I think they're just a little bit hesitant in regards to paying him that type of money because they know that, hey, it's a very hefty investment. And in Fangio's defense, I don't think he pays those interior guys large amounts of money. I think he'd rather spend his money in the secondary, getting a great safety or a great cornerback, uh, or a great inside linebacker. I think he would much rather have that than spend it on Christian Wilkins because he may feel like, hey, Deshaun is not the best, or Peely is not the best guy at doing what Christian does, but they'll be good enough in the scheme for us to kind of be able to stunt, free guys up, and still get home to the quarterback. So that's just my take on it. But I think Wilkins is a very good player. I love to have Wilkins on the football team for years to come. I want him to retire a Dolphin. I just think that there's more to it. The NFL is a business, and I think everybody gets caught up in, oh, he's our guy. We drafted him. I get that, but we drafted him. Mike McDaniels didn't draft Christian Wilkins. I know he wants him around, but it's not a guy he drafted, right? So you got to take that into consideration as well. It's not one of his guys, right? But I do think he wants him around. I do think he wants him around. So, hey, appreciate the question. Hopefully, I answered that thoroughly for you, Frankie. Appreciate everybody coming through, man. Appreciate everybody coming through. Y'all are the homies. I see you, JR Black. I see you, Newfoundland. Um, I see you, Raul P. Brian Brains. What's good? Fins up, Brian Brains. What's going on, bro? He said Wilkins is a professional. I agree. I agree for sure. He is a professional. I see you. H, what's popping? Has McDaniel said which starters are playing this week? He has not said who's playing this week. And with Tyreek being out, Waddle being out, Teron Armstead being out, I'm not sure if I want to see Tua out there, to be completely honest with you. If it's not the first unit entirely, then bro, don't even worry about it. We'll see you when we see you. We'll see you when we see you. Because I don't want to go out there and get him hurt. It just doesn't just don't make sense to me. Just don't make sense. So guys, I appreciate you guys coming out. Hey, it was a great show. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on notifications. Get at me on Twitter. Get at me on IG. Be sure to like and subscribe. Hey, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all spending some time with me. Went for an hour and 20. Didn't expect to go this long, but it was good conversation. It was good going over the article. I'll send that to TD for y'all and see what he thinks about it. He's probably gonna laugh at me like, bro, why are you sending me this? But yeah, man, appreciate y'all. Love y'all. It's Finn's Take with CB83, and I'm out this man. See ya.
Came from the bottom, that's foreign. I swear that I'm up for the sun in the morning. Oof, hey, I gotta flex. I need a Nike bag, give me the check. I need the money and power, respect, but I promise I'm repping the O to the dead. Hey, oof, I told them out of my way. I don't got nothing to say. Now they can't run at my pace. Yeah, they know that we ain't the same. 402, we rap the game.